It's your boy, yadiiiigg, 4 eyes, 2 G's, and before we get into the video for today guys, please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow your boy in all social medias for more. But on to today's topic, and today we're here to talk about Lil Tracy. And Tracy is someone that has had quite a buzz in the underground scene for a while now, and a lot of the rockstar, emo-ish, punkish trends that we are seeing bleed through to the mainstream, he's been doing for a minute. And as someone who was a pretty big fan of him, it's almost frustrating seeing him not exploding in the mainstream, because his catchy melodies, witty bars, and charisma all scream someone who should have made the leap to the mainstream a long time ago, but it just hasn't happened. And in this video, I wanted to discuss where he is at, and perhaps why he hasn't popped off like that yet. So the first reason I want to discuss is to do with his label situation, and I'm not exactly sure what his current situation is right now, but it seems as though he is independent if his iTunes is accurate. However, in the Mass Appeal video on Tracy, they mentioned several major offers were on the table for him, and it seems as though he is considering a major at this time if he hasn't signed already. Regardless of this though, up until this point in his career, his label situation, or rather lack thereof, has hindered his ability to really take off. Number one, and this is really the basics, an artist of his level can't really hope to blow without having his music up on streaming services. The only tape he has up on Spotify is XOXO, and not even anything after that like Life of a Pop Star, Designer Talk, or his various Lucy's are on Spotify. Even though all of his stuff is on SoundCloud, that doesn't really matter. To make inroads with the mainstream audiences, to get your music out there to as many people as possible, and to actually cross over to the mainstream, you need to have your music on streaming services. For example, take the Like a Farmer remix that has become Tracy's biggest song outside of his Peep collaborations. It has 10 million plays between YouTube and SoundCloud alone. But without the song being on streaming services, it really limits its potential to grow and for it to push Tracy. The Lil Uzi cosign was huge, so with its success, it could have landed him in influential taste-making playlists like Rap Caviar, but instead, it'll probably just remain a SoundCloud hit for now. And this is just one example of how a label situation could help him. Other ways could be through distribution, radio promotion, or even things like media placements. And I think when he eventually does sign, it could be a pivotal moment in his career, because what he has been able to build by himself is massive, and to get the numbers like he has on IG and SoundCloud with no label is impressive for any artist. But that transition from underground to mainstream is a difficult one to do independently, and over the last year or so, I think artists like Juice WRLD or Comethazine have shown how a label can really help you get those looks and promotion that you need to explode. And I think what Tracy has been able to do by himself has set him up well for a transition to the mainstream, and I think we could see him have large success given the right major situation. And the next thing to discuss is really the actions of Tracy outside of the music that have led to him driving a fork between himself, artists, and the fans, ultimately tarnishing relationships and isolating himself from certain fan bases. If you've kept up with Tracy since before Pete passed and to now, it's been kinda clear he hasn't always been in the right frame of mind, and his fans always speculate different reasons as to what's going on, but it's not for me to speak like I really know what's going on inside of his head or his personal life. But one thing that is clear is that he's going through some shit and is still dealing with the passing of Pete very heavily, and this fragile state of mind has led to a slew of Twitter and IG live episodes where he has called out everyone under the sun. And I don't have time to go into every single beef in detail, but the list includes Lil Peep, Juice WRLD, Fat Nick, Bexy, Lil Yachty, Smoker Sack, and Lil Pump. And it's important to mention that this begins before Peep's death, where him and Peep kind of weren't messing with each other, and this would hurt Tracy especially, because the crossover between Peep and Tracy's fanbase is huge, so this beef of sorts between the two led to fans choosing sides, and a lot of people sided with Peep and started hating on Tracy for his actions, and still today he receives hate for this. And this reoccurring pattern of his where he calls out artists has hurt industry relationships, artist relationships, as well as lost him fans. More so than this, he's also said some things towards his fanbase that you just shouldn't say as an artist. From saying things along the lines of that he hates his fans to this tweet here. And it doesn't matter whether this tweet was serious or not, it just begs the question of why. And talking down to your own fanbase does nothing but deter your own fans from from liking you. And these actions of his, I think, have played a role in him not being as big as he could have by now, as they have ultimately led to tarnished relationships with artists, people within the industry, as well as him losing his own fans and potential ones. But in saying that, I do think Tracy has slowly been learning that he is better off working and having friendly relationships than beefing relationships with these artists. Like take Uzi or Juice WRLD for example, where before he was beefing with them, now he has turned it around and has made music with them both, which in the case of Uzi jumping on the Like a Farmer remix has given him a huge boost. And I'm hoping that Tracy can continue to patch up relationships, stay away from beefs, work with bigger artists, but most importantly, get himself into a healthier frame of mind, because I think I speak for a lot of fans out there when I say that we really want to see him happy, see him winning, and want him to be as big as he deserves to be. And on top of this, I've been absolutely loving his recent music. Designer Talk is one of my favorite projects of the year so far. Playfair with Juice WRLD has been on repeat non-stop, and I'm so keen for Sinner, and I think it could be a huge project for him. But that's all from me today, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Tracy. Also, please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow your boy on all social medias for more.